Welcome to this episode of Aggressively Growing by Using My Bible Verses. Today, we're going to talk about Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, the parable of the talents. This is a story in the book of Matthew that is told by Jesus, and the lessons in this story can serve as a framework to how we spend our days. The reason we're discussing this passage is because we're finding that a significant amount of people are lacking direction in life. And what we mean by that is lacking a clear destination and lacking a clear plan on how to get to that destination. Do you have a clear destination? Do you have a clear plan on how to get to that destination? A significant amount of people have not decided. Personally, for me, it took me 35 years to decide. A lot of people have done this way sooner than I did. But for me, that was my personal journey. I had more than enough time, but my lack of direction and my unwillingness to decide led me to being 35 years old, making $35,000 a year, with two children. And children are 30,000 apiece, by the way, right? So I didn't have enough money to afford my own place. Luckily, my parents allowed me to live with them, with the mother of my children and my two children. Only reason I wasn't on the streets, right? And my lack of direction and my unwillingness to decide are what led me to that destination. A destination that I was not proud of, right? I was in no position to say that my family was secure. I was in no position to say that I was accomplishing things and providing them with experiences that my family would find impressive. I didn't understand the importance of selling my family on the rewards of following the example that I set. I had the same capacity then that I do now. I just didn't have the courage to decide on a direction in my life. If I had decided on a direction, I would have grown a lot sooner than I did. And I know I'm not alone in my experience. So we developed these messages to give people the direction that was given to me and that has changed everything about my life. So with Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, the story that Jesus tells, right? The master, there's a master and three servants. The master leaves town for a while and he gives each of those servants, he gives one of the servants 5 talents, he gives one of the servants 2 talents, and he gives one of the servants 1 talent. Right? The master leaves for a while and returns, and he calls the servants in to see what they've done with their talents. First servant comes in who had the 5 talents. He says, I developed my talents, turned them into 10. The master says, well done. Second servant comes in. He had 2 talents. He says, I developed my talents, turned them into 4. The master says, well done. The third servant comes in. He says, my 1 talent that I had, now I carefully wrapped it up, right? Buried it somewhere where nobody would find it so I wouldn't lose it, so it wouldn't get stolen. And guess what? Nobody stole it. I didn't lose it. And he unwrapped it and he said, I got it right here for you. And the master said, take that talent away from him and give it to the person who has 10 talents. And we understand some people will hear this and say, that's unfair, right? We're not asking you to like it. You don't have to like the way things are, but you should definitely learn the way things are so that you can decide on how to proceed with your life. The master was really upset with servant 3 for hiding and not developing his talent. The servant chose to bury his talent so he wouldn't lose it and so nobody would steal it. Have you ever done that? I have. For most of the jobs in my career, I didn't lean into the fact that I was a really good writer and that I enjoyed writing. Right? I worked unloading trucks, washing dishes, bartending, sales associate, a bunch of things that had very little to do with my given talents. And as a result, I was living a life that had very little to do with the life that I desired. And I was in a club with millions of members. Right? I knew I wasn't alone in this, not leaning into my talents, not really aggressively, courageously embracing the person I was designed to be. Right? And the master says, Cast ye the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So we interpret this as if we choose not to develop the talents that were given to us, then we will be doomed to a life surrounded by upset and angry people. Do you see that playing out in life at all? Right? That's my question to you, because I feel like I do. I feel like I do see people who could be amazing, could be brilliant, but just haven't developed their talents for a myriad of reasons, right? Normally because they've been convinced that other things outside of working on themselves is what matters in life, right? With this person or that person, they're limited. Man, you'll never be able to verify any of that stuff. So what we always suggest, develop yourself, right? Once you get better, everything gets better for you. Once again, the intention of this session is to provide you with some direction in life. Develop your talents. Commit to developing your talents. Focus on developing your talents. Get serious about developing your talents. Your unique perspective, your unique experience, your unique opinion is beneficial to the rest of us when you choose to develop your talents. According to the Bible, there is a penalty for choosing to not develop your talents. All right? So now the question becomes, how do I identify my talents? And we have tools to help you do just that. All right? Two tools that we use to help our students identify their qualities and abilities are the multiple intelligence assessment and the interest profiler. Both are free, both are simple, right? These assessments can provide you with priceless information to help you decide on who you are and where you're going. We have video walkthroughs on the site and on the channel as well to show you exactly how to do these assessments. We want to make it simple for you, right? We understand the power of you connecting to who you truly are. Once again, it could be beneficial for all of us, right? When was the last time you wrote down your characteristics? When was the last time you wrote down the things that you do well? Now is the time to do it again. It's important that we evaluate ourselves and clarify to ourselves what we are aiming for in this life. And keep in mind, if you want to make a fortune, which, some people do, some people want to make a fortune, and that's, we totally get it, that's fine. If you want to make a fortune, provide a fortune of services, right? If you want more compensation, figure out how to help more people, how to impact more people, right? Increase your value and your compensation will undoubtedly increase. Identify your talents, develop your talents, use your talents to help other people. That's the simple strategy that we suggest for everyone because it's a strategy that everyone can do. Each of us is like an oil field essentially, right? But in order to get the oil, you have to dig, right? And what that means also is if you do not dig, then you do not get the oil. So take the time, put forth the effort to develop yourself. It has to be difficult in order for us to grow from it, right? Keep that in mind. Things have to be difficult in order for us to grow from them. But we're still living, so there is some lesson to be learned, right? Look for the lesson. Look for the lesson. Never forget that. All right? Identify, develop, use, right? Action steps. Take that multiple intelligence assessment, right? Take the interest profiler. Do those intelligence improvement activities that are available on the site as well. These are the action steps. This is the passage, and these action steps are how you use that passage, right? Allow it to serve as your foundation. Decide to spend the next 12 months identifying your talents, developing your talents, and using your talents to help as much as you possibly can. All right? Develop as much as you possibly can. You are a lot more incredible than you are likely giving yourself credit for. All right? As always, continue to explore the most fascinating thing about your life. You. Have an incredible day.